Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to Chaos TV's live coverage of the Riot Turkey International Invitational 2. This is the final day of proceedings. We have already had the best of 5 grand finale and we're now into the 3rd and 4th place matchup. I'm Metis and I am now joined by Rapid as we get into the picks and bans here for game number 2. How are you feeling, dude?
It's good to be here. It's strange converting time zones and everything, but still nice to step in for what could be the last match of the day, or the last game of the day, rather, here between TCM and Millenium. Game 1, somewhat of a strange team comp for Millenium. I feel like Schleier's presence really wasn't felt in that game, but nice to see I Am So Fresh still on point with Jungle Kazakhs. Let's see if they go for it 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one because I could see what Schleier was trying to do, but if you go full AP Malphite, you have to engage, you have to be in the face of the enemy team, and he was just way too squishy to be able to deal with any of the damage that came after his Unstoppable Force was used. I honestly wouldn't expect to see another Malphite AP in this game, but as I said in the last Champion Select Rapid, Millenium are known for their kind of strange and out-of-the-box compositions. We saw LeBlanc and we saw Double AD the last time we were casting them.
They have a lot of things in their pocket, but it's not necessarily like they're trying to gain an upper hand by doing something weird. It's that they actually feel like they have developed the most effective strategies, the most effective ways to play them. Now they're going to go with a Tryndamere first, and immediately when I see Tryndamere, I think of the Type A Assassins versus AHQ game. I think of every game that Curse Academy has played in the North American Challenger scene, where that is the AD carry and then you build a melee team around it. But it does look like it's being changed up there. Corki is locked in, but we just have to see if that Renekton goes down too, and it will. Doigby will be playing that against he doesn't know what, but a very strong, safe early pick.
Exactly, that's pretty much Renekton in a nutshell. Strong, early, safe pick. And they actually went for it first lock-in last time around as well for Doigby and also the Corki. So not really changing anything up as of yet. It's going to be interesting to see what they run in mid this time around. But back onto the side of TCM, they also had the Jarvan last game as well. So really nothing has changed this time around, Rapid. They're both happy to run the same comps, it seems.
Yeah, I think for TCM at least, it's going to be an if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. If it continues to work, then hey, why not go for it? In the case of Schleier, I'm expecting to see no more AP Malphite, but you can see there's a lot banned out against him. Actually, a lot banned out by Millenium, so no Aries, Zeds, or Kassadin. There's still Gragas, there's still Orianna, both of which have been kind of the top tier of AP mid champions, but there are a lot of niche picks, which Schleier seems pretty fond of.
He certainly does, but this time around they're actually going to be going for exactly the same team. I'm trying to come up with new things to say, but really it's just champion for champion, identical. Koi was running Lissandra last time at top lane. Maybe they'll switch that to mid and try a different top laner. We're not too sure yet. The only difference that's came in right now is that Schleier may be going in for the potential Kennen, whereas last time, as we mentioned, it was Malphite. Now, Kennen would just be all around better, but Schleier is toying with the idea of Veigar. This would be a strange lock-in to say the least.
No, we actually did just finish, or at least I just saw Veigar being played by Team LOL Pro versus, I believe it was Team Vex in the Amateur League Challenger or League Championship Series just yesterday, just last night. And while NY Jackie actually got really fed on that champion, it didn't really matter because it's League of Gap Closers, and you'll see already 2 of those in Lissandra's Ice Path and then Jarvan's EQ standard combo. And so when you're as immobile as Veigar is, you can't really just expect to get super fed and then be allowed to do damage, because somebody's going to be jumping on you every single time, and that will mean that Millenium are actually saving their AP mid pick for last, opting to grab that support Zyra.
Yes, indeedy. So over to TCM again. The last time they were running the Thresh support with Caitlyn, so not too sure if they're going to go for that again. It worked pretty nicely for them. Matroco did suffer a tiny bit though early game, was 0-2 in the laning phase, but pulled it back in the team fighting stage. It looks like Barney D is going to go for the Thresh again, which makes a lot of sense, and that will leave either their top or mid laner. I say that because Lissandra is an either or champion. It can be played top, can be played mid. I'm not too sure the way they're going to go here though, Rapid. It's kind of up in the air for me. Okay, Orianna would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Oriana definitely. Gragas right there as well. It's going to be locked in for Matroko and, or rather for Belgian Beast. But it's nice to see Gragas being represented. I feel like that was something that Belgian Beast did very, very well on, especially in their previous games. And coming into this game versus Millenium, I want to see something big from Schleia. He actually played a Shen that was more of a side lane with the duo in the mid, and so that, it was more Millenium running two side laners and then a duo in their mid lane. And I don't feel like the Malphite's going to come back because he's going up against double AP, so obviously you want something that can stack up magic resistance. I've been seeing a few games of Galio out there, and while this may not be the perfect opportunity for it, it's still going to be something that is on the table, but I think Oriana would be sort of the top tier, sort of safe pick.
Well, it's definitely top tier right now in terms of how much we've seen it. Morgana is certainly not a champion that we've seen as much as Oriana, but would make a lot of sense. It looks like it's going to be actually locked in here from Millenium. So, what are your thoughts on Morgana as a mid laner?
My thoughts are Schleia hates commentators predicting what he's going to pick, because between AP mid Malphite and the Morgana locked in now, I feel like the Morgana is going to do a lot against blocking out not only the burst damage from Belgian Beast, but also his ability to displace your team, because of course he's going to get dark or black shielded. The other thing that is going to be really, really huge for the black shield is that anytime Koi tries to come into the team fight and nuke somebody down, it's going to be pretty obvious. So Koi's really going to have to work on not telegraphing the target for his Glacial Tomb, because as soon as you throw that on somebody who's black shielded, you just feel kind of silly and they just walk away.
Yeah, plus with the heavy engage that TCM have as well with the Jarvan, with the Lissandra, and also Barney D's Thresh, Morgana's Soul Shackles could prove to be so big with the Stranglethorns as well, because you have this kind of disengaged lineup with Doigby being able to just run down the likes of Matroko's Caitlyn, and then Nanook just kind of hiding on the sides, putting out as much damage as physically possible. So, although Morgana may not be top tier pick in terms of what we've seen recently, it makes a lot of sense with this composition.
Does, and as we get into the game, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to a quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's TCM facing off against Millenium in what could be our last match of the day here at the Riot Turkey International Invitational number 2. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Chaos TV's coverage of the Riot Turkey International Invitational number 2. We've already finished the grand finals, and we're here into the 3rd and 4th place match between Millenium, your team in the red, going up against TCM, a team in the blue. Dark Binding lands immediately onto Nara territory. There's the follow-up last auto attack. First blood goes to Nanook.
Oh, that's so terrifying from TCM's perspective, because it's one of the champions you really don't want to give first blood on. Corki, now I'm going to recall, may very well pick up an Adoran's Blade, could be a dagger, or even a long sword, or the boots as well. So getting a lot of mobility down a bot lane, and allowing him to just put down damage and get out of dodge again. Now Terodor as well, it's important to mention there, burnt his flash, so again that's going to be nice for Millenium, knowing that you're not going to have the flash flag and drag, and the terrifying ganks that he brings to the table.
The thing that kind of bothers me about that is that theoretically that Wraith Bush is somewhere that TCM should be the first players to get to. When you see a lot of teams either group up and go for an invade or just spread out defensively to protect against that invades, TCM really didn't do any of those. They just walked down mid lane and then fanned out to their jungle and, well, set themselves up for that first blood, which did, of course, go over to Nanook. It's going to be a duo versus duo lane there in the bottom, and while I'm going to be interested to see how Nanook works with that first blood, I'm really going to be watching this Morgana versus Gragas matchup, because I feel like Gragas is something you see all the time, Morgana not so much.
Yeah, but as you said in Champion Select though, Rapid, it does make sense because the Black Shield is going to mitigate so much damage that Belgian Beast throws out, or indeed the ultimate as well, is not going to have that disrupting effect on Morgana if Schleyer can react quick enough. So Tormented Soil comes down and Gragas is taking quite a bit of damage, but he's going to be just fine. Meanwhile though, with the First Blood going against Naruterador, he's finally picked up his double buff, but as I say, he's just not going to have the same presence in the laning phase.
And at least here in the laning phase, we're going to have to keep an eye out onto Belgian Beast as he is taking a little bit of chunk damage. The thing that really works kind of as an interesting dynamic in this mid lane matchup is that it's actually very, very heavy sustain between Belgian Beast's Happy Hour passive, where he's going to regen 2% of his max HP, versus Schleyer, who does start off the game with 10% bonus spell vamp. And we've even seen some, there are a couple of players in North American Challenger solo queue that run Smite Morgana mid and just sustain off of that. There's Ice Path in past Dorkby. Koi actually goes in and all of a sudden, or goes out, all of a sudden realizes, hey, there's a spider on a ward, and not going to let him go down his rain spout. Heads back to base and was forced out of lane successfully. So a nice pressure gank by I'm So Fresh, even though he didn't make anything happen.
Yep, bot lane, Nanook has taken quite a bit of punishment from Matroko and Barney D as well. Interestingly, Lysandra actually cancelled that recall, so has come back in. Very patient play from I'm So Fresh. Glacial Path come through again. Cocoon will go through Anticipatory, and they just don't manage to get it because of the flash.
Yeah, Ice Path doesn't really work well at dodging out away from CC like Cocoon, because you can see I'm So Fresh just threw the Cocoon at the end of the Glacial Path, and all of a sudden you're like, huh, that's probably better flash that, and that was flash burned by Koi. He did cancel his recall, which was somewhat confusing to me, especially after he threw an Ice Shard into the very bush that I'm So Fresh was standing in. So we're going to have a little bit of a pause here and see what's going on, but in the meantime, should look to start things back up here relatively shortly.
Yes, indeed. Pause was called from I'm So Fresh. They are asking both teams if they are ready. So fingers crossed we'll be ready to jump back into this game. There we go. The unpause has came down. TCM have 3 players at bot lane pushing this tower very aggressively. And with Daoud such low HP and Nanook being quite low as well, they're going to be going in past the tower. Death Sentence comes in. It's not looking too good for Corki, and he will be falling. So got the first blood, but unable to really snowball with it. They're now going to put down some serious damage on this bot tower.
And with bot tower going to be facing up against that 3-on-1. It's Corki going down, and a nice gank coming in there by Naruterador. In the meantime, we are going to look for a little bit of extra pressure top lane. Koi right there along with it. I'm So Fresh runs out there, can't quite hit the Cocoon. Still going to be the nice stun up there. There's the Cocoon. And just the spin to win. Doigby helping I'm So Fresh take down the second kill for Millenium.
Koi must be feeling pretty hard done by right now, Rapid, because he's been camped so hard from I'm So Fresh. That's like the second or third consecutive gank at top lane. So they're really just piling on the pressure at top, and now going to look to put down some damage on the top lane as well, on the top tower. So yeah, I mean the bot tower.
Oh, flash force out by Belgian Beast in the mid lane as actually Ignite is burning down as well. Belgian makes it out of there with 80 hit points. Schleyer, very aggressive. It's not often you see Gragas get forced so early on out of lane. Actually, no, speaking of forcing people out of lane, it's I'm So Fresh and Doigby proxy farming in between Koi's turrets.
Yeah, he's going to be sad. So he's not only has he died early on and is quite a distance behind on CS, but XP wise as well. And I'm So Fresh is still at the top lane, and he can afford to do this because bot lane has actually lost their tower, but in doing so the CS is pushing, and he realizes
Koi can't make back
that
the lane. There's the flash.
flashed.
Cocoon lands, damage coming down. Ice Path is there. Koi makes it out alive. Naruterador is here, so it's going to be a 2v2, but there's a double knockup. Naruterador actually really strong. I'm So Fresh in a lot of trouble. Going to get away from there. Throws the spider backwards. Looks like Doigby and Fresh could get away. They're going to have to wait to go through the turret. I'm So Fresh is going to die here. He walks through the turret. just barely miscalculating that minion wave timing, will get taken out. There's actually the ice path in onto Koi Death Sentence as Barney D no longer bottom lane as the lanes have completely shifted for TCM. It's Belgian Beast in the mid and now Matroko mid versus Shlaya, and I love this shift from TCM, putting in AD versus Morgana and then giving Gragas a lane where at least he can still farm.
Yeah, the only silver lining, though, from Millenium is that Nariterador picked up both those kills. If they'd gone to Lissandra, it would have actually bought Koi some time back into this game again. But with Jarvan picking both the kills up, yes, he's going to be very tanky, yes, he's going to be a presence in the jungle, but Lissandra is still a fair amount behind Renekton. Although that being said, actually, he's only 4 CS behind, so I'll correct myself there. I thought Renekton was a lot further ahead.
Yeah, and he didn't even get the kill. That also went over to the jungler. So jungler's picking up all the kills so far in this game, with the exception of that first blood for Nanook. It's 3-2, and with only about a 1,000 gold advantage, it's going to be another lane swap. Shlaya moving down to the bottom to go up against Belgian Beast. But keep in mind, the first turret did go to TCM. They did take that bottom one down, and now it's going to be Shlaya, a very strong pushing champion, just with that tormented soil, pushing, well, very far into TCM's lanes without a turret to fall back to.
True, but Schlaya's going against Gragas, who himself is a pretty good lane pusher with the barrel roll, able to just clear waves very, very quickly. Looks like Nariterador is going to be going back to spawn. Meanwhile, So Fresh is just lurking around his jungle. So again, we have that couple of moments of explosive behavior from both teams, Rapid, and it goes back to this standstill of just a lot of farming.
Belgian Beast looking to roam. Very little work coverage around Dragon. Just one ping scouting out the approach to that middle lane. Trays continue to go down top as well. Just looking for the next point of aggression, and it will be found in that bottom lane. Nariterador looking to go in onto a Shlaya, who's already blown his mass CC combo. Trying to take out Belgian Beast, but now trapped in the Cataclysm. Gonna be body slam. There's the auto attack. Belgian Beast taking him out.
Yeah, big plays again from Nariterador. Just being everywhere simultaneously, it seems, making the plays for the likes of Gragas. Belgian Beast going to be picking up that first kill. I'm So Fresh coming around from the side. Glacial Path instantly used from Koi, trying to get out of dodge here. Will Cocoon land? Even if it does, may not do a great deal of damage afterwards.
In the mid, onto Dude. Lantern backwards to pull Nariterador in. It's the last hit from Matroko. Perfect gank there by TCM, set up off of Barney D.
And that's the power of Thresh. That's why you pick him as a support character, similar to a Blitzcrank, lander grabs, and transition into kills. I'm So Fresh going back up to top again. Koi is having such a horrible time with this, because Elise is just fully focusing on the top lane. And, you know, Rapid, at some point, maybe it's going to be a better idea to focus elsewhere, because, yes, you're getting your top laner kind of slightly ahead, but your other lane's getting crushed.
Yeah, middle turret down below half HP for Millenium, and I think that the focus top lane for I'm So Fresh was good early on because he knew that, hey, Corki got first blood, he should be able to do pretty well in that lane. Actually wound up dying to a gank by Nariterador. So the focus top lane is actually going to be Doigby hitting R, looking to go in onto Koi. Koi not getting close enough. There's going to be the spin, but the Ice Ring of Frost rather locks up Doigby. He's going to be back onto his turret. Gets knocked up. There's the Ice Path actually in to that Glacial Tomb. The damage to follow ignites down onto Koi. Not quite able to finish up the kill as Nariterador is all across the map. Will not be around the Dragon area though, so at least Millenium get a global objective off of that kill.
They do, and I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to pick up this top tower off the back of it either, because Lissandra's not the best of characters at pushing down towers.
Nanook hit the shortest range Valkyrie I have ever seen, but still, I got interrupted in the middle of it by Belgian Beast explosive cast, trying to combo him as he got pinched in between the turret and the wall. Top turret will look to fall here as killing off Doigby and a minion wave pushing in will give that second turret of the game over to TCM. Middle turret stays alive, but it is the only outer turret left alive for Millenium after the first two go to TCM.
So let's just take stock of the situation. That is a 2-0 in terms of objectives. In fact, 2-1, because Millenium did just pick up the Dragon, as you were talking previously, and 6-2 on kills. So that's going to equate itself into a 2.7k gold advantage for TCM, which they desperately need to take home here and make the big plays. Remember, this is best of 3, third and fourth place matchup for 2,000 euros up for grabs, and both teams coming out swinging here, Rapid.
Absolutely, 10,000 for first place, and then 5 for first place, and then 3 and 2,000 for second and third. And coming into this game, I'm really interested. I expected to see the whole Schleia I'm So Fresh combo work out so well, and the reason Millenium are even here is because Doigby has just completely just shined the entire tournament long. But this time around, Doigby having some issues, 0, 2, and 2, and now it's Neroterador picks up Home Guard 5 speeds after his Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Just running all the way around the map, continuing to be a force. The other thing to notice is that Schleia, not going for a jungle item, picked up double Doran's rings. There's going to be the dunk onto I'm So Fresh, goes up into the air. Will get knocked up there to follow up the damage. Could be a dark passageway. I feel like I'm So Fresh would have been happy if that were his. Fortunately, it did belong to Barney D.
In mid, though, they're going to be putting down some damage on with the Nukan Diode. It's the Death Sentence actually goes in. They're going to be coming in with the Flare afterwards. In fact, no, they're not. Stranglethorns and Dark Binding fly in from Schleia, but they're not going to be able to connect the dots and not going to be able to get any kills. But a couple of ultis burnt in the process.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious as to why Barney D went in on that, as he did just wind up flashing back out immediately. I think he didn't really expect Schleia to come in from the side, so nice shift there from Schleia to come back to middle lane. We're going to see a blue buff stolen away by Neroterador. Sweet lord, this guy is absolutely everywhere. And I saw the Home Guard 5-speed boots, and I'm like, wow, that's a ton of gold put into just mobility. And then I noticed he had already completed the Spirit of the Ancient Golems, so just absolutely not only putting it into itemization for himself, but then getting the mobility with those Home Guard 5 speeds to help out the rest of his team.
What's really impressed me this game is that even though Neroterador did die, was a recipient of First Blood and lost his flash in the process, his synergy with the rest of his team has been so good. He's been making those plays, especially alongside Barney D. They're setting each other up so perfectly to pick up kills and objectives afterwards, so massive shout out to them thus far. It's a really difficult position for Millenium to be in here, Rapid, because of course they did lose the first game. If they lose this game, they're out. They're going to be finishing in 4th, no part of that 2,000 euros prize pool. So
Schleia in the bottom lane, forced the flash. It's going to be the flash in for that Glacial Tomb. It's Neroterador with the red buff tick to pick up the kill onto Schleia, catching him out between that mid and outer turret. Of course, outer turret still down, so just venturing out to lane to farm. Can't even make it there because of a great movement. TCM right down there in the bottom lane in time to pick him off.
Yep, so they're going to be pushing bot lane. While at the same time, 3 players strong from TCM going to go through the mid as well. Need to be careful because Belgian Beast is doing a lot of burst damage right now. Level 11, so 2 points in Explosive Cask. Here he comes, going to be jumping in. An Explosive Cask, knocking back Nanook. And they do manage to pick up that mid tower.
Oh, Koi explodes, but so does I'm So Fresh. It's Neroterador versus Doigby. There is a huge minion wave at Neroterador's back. Not something Doigby's going to want to fight in. Looks like he will be able to survive if Neroterador lets him. Red buff dealing a lot of that damage. And now Belgian Beast and Barney D coming to bottom lane with Matroko looking to take that one out. Black Shield preventing the knockup onto Diud. There's actually the overcommittal by Neroterador. Goes through the turret, gets taken out, but it's still looking to be that second tier bottom turret going to TCM.
Yep, they do pick that up. It's going to be the 4th objective on the board to TCM. Both bottom towers have now been decimated. And going forward as to when Baron has spawned, which is in about 2 seconds time, but when it's going to be viable and available for both teams to go ahead and try and fight against, it's going to be more difficult for Millenium, especially if that inhib at bot starts to get pressured, because then they need to be very wary of the inhib falling. Mid lane, Doigby and Belgian Beast just trying to get some farm, but nothing really happening there.
Doigby's starting to come back to where he needs to be. You can see he's picked up a lot of magic resistance, so just itemizing for that 1v1 against Koi, or I guess against Belgian Beast as well. But still, diving into these big team fights, he's going to be focused almost immediately by Matroko, who did go Bloodthirster first, so it's not like that Infinity Edge rush, which would just absolutely devastate somebody without armor, but still is going to be dealing a lot of damage to Doigby as that AD continues to stack up. You're not looking for Bloodthirster rushes for Nanook, but he is still without his Trinity Force, and after getting First Blood, I definitely expected things to go slightly differently. There is going to be a Black Shield onto Schleia, helping him get away successfully.
Yep, they do get Barney D as he was trying to get some more coverage around the Dragon area, which is live right now. As you can see at the top left, So just really jumping on top of that and saying, okay, yeah, Barney D wants to try and get vision, so we'll get the free kill. That being said, though, they're not really in any position in terms of geographical or power to really go up against this dragon. So this is going to be a free Drake for TCM. However, top lane, Doigby and I'm So Fresh going to try and even it up by picking up this top tower.
Now keep in mind, the pressure top lane by Millenium means that they don't actually want to fight. They're like, we're going to take an objective that we know you guys can't because you're down taking dragon. Top turret will fall, but Millenium need to get to this mid lane as quickly as possible. Push very strong coming in there by TCM, but without a minion wave, should give Millenium time to regroup. This could be a team fight that would signal possibly the end of the game if it went to TCM, as things already kind of rolling in their favor. About a 5,000 gold lead for TCM going into this fight. Death Sentence lands onto Doigby. Is going to get pulled in. There is their territory. 1v2. Doigby flashes away, but his explosive cast just used to pick him off. Nook with a strong presence in the back, but now Millenium forced to disengage. Nobody likes the Nook, and it's going to be Nara Territory picking up a revenge for that first blood. Chasing Dude through the turn. It's a body slam from Belgian Beast to take him down for a quadra kill to finish the team fight. Only Schleia left alive.
He could be going in for the Penta here, actually. Ace in the hole comes through on Schleia. Dark Binding has been... Dark Shield, I should say, was used there. And Matroko picks up that tower. GG well played, already coming in. That's going to be a pentakill, actually, in the meanwhile from Belgian Beast on Morgana. Just about survives by the skin of his teeth, and they're already calling you GG well played.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's a change to the way that pentakills work. If you kill 4 people and then you get the 5th one before any of the others respawn, it's still a penta. So a little bit of a redefinition there. Min inhibitor will not go down, but still, Schleia getting picked off there. Thought he had the outplay and would have just sort of posthumously killed off Belgian Beast. He's hitting him with the Dark Binding in the Tormented Soil. Didn't quite land the Tormented Soil, though, so Belgian Beast gets out alive with just a little bit of HP, and that'll be the 14th kill, a pentakill for Belgian Beast, backing off TCM with the first base turret of the game.
Now Nara Terrador is in a really sticky situation. Here comes the teleport though. Can I'm So Fresh pick this one up? Koi from the side gets cancelled from the grasping route. Doiby coming in from the side as well. Dark Passage lands. So for all the objectives, sorry, for all these summoner spells, but no one's going down. In fact, I'm So Fresh now finds himself against the Matroko in a really precarious position. Koi's burnt off the Zoni's Hourglass. Elise will finally fall. Soul Shackles coming through. Will it land on Barney D? Yes, it will. But they'll also pick up the kill off the back of it. And now here comes Belgian Beast after just receiving that pentakill. He's going to be absolutely gigantic with the Rabadon's Death Cap. Flashing in with a Dark Binding. Lands onto Nara Terrador. Explosive Cask, and Schleia survives with about 20 hit points there. Unbelievable amounts of damage.
It's like when you see Zyra die, her full health bar is gone, but she's still just flashing red while she waits to use her Rise of the Thorns. Schleia doesn't have that passive, but it sure looks like he does. He got away with just the last sliver of his hit points. The kill on Barney D was good, and they could have actually taken out Nara Terrador as well, but once again, the Tormented Soil just was barely off the edge of that Dark Biting. Nara Terrador gets away, but it's still a 2-for-0 in favor of Millenium. Starting to bring this back, but at the same time, or as 1-for-0, as I'm So Fresh did unfortunately go down. Finally has picked himself up the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, looking for another powerful magic penetration item in that Spirit Visage coming out, or Haunting Guise coming out next. Spirit Visage should be picked up on Doigby relatively soon, but he does still have that Giant's Belt for his Sunfire Cape.
He certainly does, but taking stock of this game, they still find themselves in a pretty nasty situation. 7.8k behind, 6-1 towers in favour of TCM with a hyper-fed Gragas. 7-0 with 171 CS. Even Caitlyn's pretty big right now. 2-0, Bloodthirster and Static Shiv. So whichever way you look at it, it's bad. Dark Binding has landed. Here comes Corki as well from the side. Instantly the Black Shield comes down from Schleia. Not going to be enough damage though. Here comes the Q. And they will just be backing on off, still respecting Belgian Beast, even with such low HP.
And that's going to be Belgian Beast. Very low turnaround immediately onto Matroko. There's going to be a Soul Shackles to take him out. Barney D in a little bit of a rough spot. Rise of the Thorns will hit, but don't want to go straight into Nara Terrador and Koi. Doigby will be joined by Nanook to defend this bottom lane turret, but still a nice pick. Trades off Matroko for Dude, and the huge turnaround there by Millenium just said, hey, we're running, but we're not afraid.
Well, Elise is still occupying top, so this is Not looking too good for Millenium. They do have power in numbers though. However, Java and Naruterodor are still popping down the bottom tower, the bottom inhib, so they're losing pretty hard on terms of objectives. This will be the seventh tower right now from TCM. Looks to be the case. Now Naruterodor is going to pick that up and then try and run away. Having said that though, he doesn't have the flag and drag. Here comes Nanook from the side. Even if he does die, it's still worth it in my opinion though, because they picked up that inhib tower. Will finally fall down. Elise is still pushing the top lane, but here comes Matroko.
Yeah, you can see Matroko made a wise choice there. Didn't try to save the turret and wind up dying to very high damage Elise build from I'm So Fresh. It's going to be Belgian Beast going legendary after locking up Shlaya, the Dark Shield, or Black Shield rather, wasn't even on cooldown. He didn't get a chance to use that. That could have turned that entire engagement around, preventing, of course, the CC there from the Glacial Tomb, but still will be entombed there by Koi as TCM pick up their 17th kill of the game.
And Schley still had Zonny's Hourglass as well, so didn't really use any of the survival abilities there to escape from that one, but so much damage coming down, you can't really blame him with how quickly his health bars are disintegrating. Regardless though, 7-2 in towers, still that big discrepancy in gold remains. And TCM, if it comes to a Baron fight, do you think that TCM can just straight up pick this out without worrying about Millenium Rapid, or do they still have to respect the amount of damage?
Millenium have been able to come back into the kill count, only down by 7 right now, and with I'm So Fresh taking out 2 top lane turrets, you can see he's even heading back up in that same direction right now. Most likely will be for Baron coverage just to see what's going on over there. Barney D clearing out wards for TCM, and I feel like, to answer your question more thoroughly, Millenium, they have a huge teamfight combo. I mean, AoE from Corki, Shlaya, a champion built for teamfights, and then Doigby, supposed to be a huge force in the back, but really got shut down a little bit too hard early on, and now it's TCM onto the first inhibitor of the game. Down below half HP, his body slam just to counter out the Black Shield, and there's the flash away from Explosive Cast. Middle inhibitor does go down for TCM. Not quite looking to pick a fight just yet. Gonna move on to their second inhibitor of the game.
I can't really figure out what I'm So Fresh is doing though. I mean, his team's losing 2 inhibs and he's still pushing top lane. So they've lost 2 inhibs. They're going to be able to recall now, probably in time. And it's just kind of like, well, you didn't really accomplish anything by pushing there. Caitlyn's gone back. It's going to stop this onslaught already. And now, with it being a 4 versus 4, TCM may even want to engage this. They have the burst damage. They have the sustained damage as well. But they're going to be backing on off instead.
There will be the repel backwards. I'm So Fresh getting out alive. Takes down a base turret for Millenium. So I like the split push, but I feel like it's a little bit too little too late, as with those 2 inhibitors down, the only lane that TCM need to push now is the top lane, and that just so happens to be the lane that I'm So Fresh has been pushing as well. So he's not going to get minions. He can still backdoor that bottom inhibitor, but is going to die here very ceremoniously as both Naruterodor and Barney D come in to try to take him out. There's the play backwards, dark passageway as well. It's a 2-on-1. Barney D gets the death sentence, and there's the ace in the hole from Matroko, punishing I'm So Fresh. In the meantime, fight in the middle lane. There's the Glacial Tomb, but a perfect Black Shield there from Shlaya, allowing Nanook to take him out. It's going to be Millenium backing off of that team fight, but still able to pick up a kill.
Yep, they need to be careful though, because both Naruterodor and Matroko are pushing top lane right now. Gragas has been caught, but there's Dark Passage, so we'll be okay. Belgian Beast lives to fight for another day. With the amount of damage they're putting at this top tower, it's going to be very difficult for the entirety of Millenium to get into position and stop this from happening. They may very well try and push for this 3rd inhibitor, and they can afford to just stall this rapid, because they've got super minions pushing down mid and bot lane. So at some point, Millenium are going to go ahead and have to defend at bot, or potentially lose a Nexus tower.
Top tower going down to below half HP. Teleport onto the Jarvan standard. Koi comes in, gets immediately caught out there. Top turret will fall. It's going to be I'm So Fresh below half HP. The Cataclysm catching 3-4 as Doigby flashes back away. Top turret goes down. Super minions are onto the Nexus turret, starting to get that damage down. Belgian Beast picks up a Void Staff as he was taken out there, but with Millenium forced back to their own base, it's going to be the 3rd and final inhibitor going down for TCM.
And that is probably going to be all she wrote, I would imagine, for Millenium, because they're going to be forced to stay at their Nexus towers or face the very real possibility that they will get destroyed. And in doing so, TCM can go ahead, recall, buy up some items, and potentially force the Baron. If Millenium come off their base right now, they're going to be in a really bad situation. So TCM is really, the ball is in their court. World is their oyster. They can do whatever they want, knowing that Millenium have to play passive.
Now we are going to see kind of the final push here. TCM realized, alright, they can do anything they want, and so are probably going to take down the Baron buff. Probably won't go for Dragon if they would have to recall to spend that gold for it to really be worth it. Could get some experience if that's what they're going for, but Baron is going to be their big objective. And for Millenium, they're doing the best that they can right now, pushing out their lanes, getting ward coverage out onto the map just so that, you know, if they have a chance for a good engagement, they can find it with ward coverage. Dude is putting out it's all pink ward coverage just to make sure that they have control of the outside of their base. But for Millenium, and I guess I should ask this question to you, Metas, they're trapped in their own base. They have somewhat of a team fight combination as far as their team comp, but I don't know, do you think they really have what it takes? I'm not saying, you know, what do they need to come back, but I'm asking for some moral support here, because I feel like that's something Millenium could need a little bit of.
Well, the caster and an optimist in me says yes, but Doigby has just been caught. This is not a good position to be in. They're going to be flagging and dragging in. Has just been caught as well. Yeah, Death Sentence backwards, and here comes the Cataclysm, and Doigby's in all sorts of trouble. And that being said, though, here comes the Stranglethorns, and also Soul Shackles. Going to be landing a couple of players. Managed to get the shutdown onto Corki. Gragas has fallen early as well, so that big damage output is no longer available. But look at the super minions. Even if TCM go even on a 2-2, 3-3 basis, the super minions are going to do the rest for them. They are smashing down these Nexus towers right now. Nice play from I'm So Fresh, staying alive for as long as possible, but this is pretty much going to be the GG right here. Super minions are too strong. Matroco and Barney D coming in, not looking good for Millenium.
And as Millenium, I'm So Fresh rather, gets flayed and slayed, the turret will go down, or the Nexus will go down as well. It's a 28-minute victory. TCM and the ceremonious 2-0 performance will take out Millenium to secure third place in the Riot Turkey Invitational number 3.
Yep, they take home €2,000 as well, so nice chunk of change in their back pocket. But unfortunately, Rapid, that means that is us done for today. That are all the games done in the Riot Turkey International Invitational number 2, and it's been a really enjoyable experience. I've enjoyed casting all of these games.
Absolutely, it's been an incredible tournament to work our way through. I remember seeing the brackets for the playoff stage and just looking through, and I tried to think of a team that wasn't in there, that was in one of the top EU Challenger